everyone, and welcome back to the Unscripted Podcast. I'm your host, Raneem, and today I have two amazing guests with me.
I'm Katherine.
I'm Raneem.
And today we are going to be talking about just navigating and balancing high school. I feel like for the past couple of episodes we focused on balancing athletics and academics specifically, but today we're going to be kind of looking at that from a broader perspective. So just looking at balancing high school socially, academically, with athletics, and then other extracurriculars, that could be career-based or anything else. So before we get started, I want both of them to introduce themselves a little bit and just tell us about yourselves. So Katherine, you can start.
Great. So I'm Katherine. I'm a senior. I go to school with these lovely ladies. I'm involved in soccer and track. Trying to think what else. I'm a part of service club. I'm on the mock trial team. Yeah, and next year I'm committed to play Division III soccer and attend Sarah Lawrence College in New York City. Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Why, thank you.
My name's Raneem. I'm in 11th grade, and I'm from Cleveland and Cincinnati, but I moved here like a couple years ago. So, I also play soccer with Katherine and Lynn. She used to play.
Manager.
She's the team manager now. Me and Katherine, we also do track and Lynn. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a great introduction. So like they already said, we all go to the same school. We are on the track team, and we were on the soccer team for 2 years before I became team manager this year. So we've been around each other a lot, and I've gotten the chance to get to know them a lot better. But we are going to jump right into it, and I'm just going to start by asking you guys, what was the best part of high school so far?
Great question, Helen. The best part of high school.
There's so many to choose from.
Honestly, I would say kind of finding some of my passions more, like academically, socially, like extracurricular activities, like kind of figuring out what subjects do I really like and gravitate towards, and also making more like social connections. Like I'm a senior, you guys are both juniors, but like being able in a high school environment setting to like expand my social circle and make connections with different people has been genuinely so much fun.
I agree. I think the best part of high school are like the friends and like all the different people you meet.
I definitely agree. I think that high school is definitely made up of the people that you meet, all the experiences that you have, so especially those things that kind of help you or help guide you, I guess, to what you want to do in the future. Because I feel like everybody going into high school has an idea of, oh, I want to do this, but a lot of times that changes. Like for the longest time, I was like, oh, medicine is the way. But then the more activities that I do, whether that's like in school or out of school, I feel like I've been able to like kind of narrow that down and be like, oh no, I'm more interested inside like the bio, like engineering standpoint, or like experiences like that. But has there been any times or things that you guys have done currently that you think have kind of set you up for the future?
Yeah, I honestly think throughout high school, something that's been like really crucial being like a student athlete and then having extracurriculars and honestly just being a student is time management. So I think like a skill that I've developed throughout high school is like time management, whether that's like doing homework on the bus rides to soccer games, we've all been there, or just like, you know, waking up before school to do my homework, or, you know, really using my free periods when I'd much rather be socializing. I think that's set me up for success and something that I think I'll definitely use in college as well.
I think the best way to set yourself up for success in like high school is like with developing your mindset, because in high school you're gonna like go through so many like different challenges and so many different setbacks, like especially like in middle school if you're used to like getting straight A's with everything, and then you come into high school and you take that first hard class, like it could feel like a punch to the gut, you know, but you gotta like set up your mindset and like be prepared for college. It's really like all about your perspective and how you look at things. I tell Katherine often not to have a victim mentality. And just the way you look at things is how you respond to it.
I definitely agree. And I want to kind of go off of your point of like how like, you're in middle school and you like easily like get A's, and you get to high school and you're like, what is going on? Because I feel like junior year has definitely been that year for me where I'm like, okay, this is kind of like challenging. Like I actually have to study for all these tests. Like I actually have to put priority on some classes. And it's like, sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating because it's like, whether the teacher is a good teacher or not. Sometimes it's like you have to kind of find that balance and like learn how to do stuff on your own and kind of get those resources outside of the classroom. Or maybe it's just talking to that teacher and like kind of building that relationship and getting more advice from them. But it's like all about growth and like being able to actually look at it. But that kind of leads me. Sorry, did you have something?
No, I just completely agree. I think having a growth mindset is something that you can definitely develop in high school that'll lead you to great places later on in life.
And even like having a growth mindset is so important, even outside the classroom.
Yeah.
Like even in sports, like you could honestly be the best on the team, Katherine, on the soccer team. And you still have to have that growth mindset, even because you're a captain this year. You have to have that growth mindset with other captains, and then also just within the sport as well, because there's always a place to improve. And even like outside of that too, because Raneem, I know you do a lot of extracurriculars outside of school. How have you been able to use that growth mindset?
100%. Like, also with like Katherine's point about like time management, like with your mindset, you can like get easily like overwhelmed with like all the different things that you have to do. But at the end of the day, you just gotta like take it like one step at a time, one day at a time, one activity at a time. And like with your mindset, you just gotta like shift it to like optimism. Like you gotta,
For sure.
yeah.
It's easy to get down on yourself when you're facing challenges and roadblocks, especially in high school, because, you know, we're all like 15, 16, 17 years old. We don't have it all figured out, but like I think the way we respond to that is very beneficial and like honestly shapes your character.
I definitely agree.
And even with like Katherine being like the best on the soccer team, like she's
Guys.
like she still has like,
Everyone
that
is great.
like she still has like that discipline. Like she does her workouts like every Tuesday, every Thursday. I see her in the gym and she's got her little packet and she's checking up all the boxes. Like she never stops working hard.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And that's important. It's important to work hard because if you want to get to where you want to get to, then you have to put that hard work in, even if it's difficult. Like even when you don't want to do the truck workouts.
Yup.
You have to do it. You have to run. But going off that point and just kind of talking about more of like the mental aspect and like stress, I feel like a lot of times we have all these things and it's like at some points we're going to get stressed, especially with like the rate of our classes. They're really fast paced, and then you have practice or you have games that are going to go all the way into the nighttime, and then you still have a whole bunch of homework because with the school that we go to, it's a college preparatory school, so you're going to have all that homework. You're going to have the fast rate like paced classes, and you're going to be expected to kind of balance everything and get everything done on time. So how do you guys balance and deal with stress?
I love writing down lists in my notes app. Like that's one thing I will always do. Like just have a to-do list. Like I feel like if you can like visualize it, it makes it way less like overwhelming.
Agreed. I'm also a big to-do list person because I think there's just something like so gratifying about being able to like check it off the list when you're done. And I also think going back to like the time management thing, just like using whatever time you have to the best. And honestly, even if that's using the time to like take a break too, because sitting down to study AP Calc for 2 hours can get really draining.
Yeah.
But doing like 30 minutes on, 15 minutes off can make it more manageable and like not as painful.
I definitely agree. And I think like prioritization is really important. Like understanding what's important or what I might need to like look over a lot more is definitely important. And also having like fun friends to do things with. So like people who understand that can study with you or like kind of help you keep you focused and like driven.
Like, well, we have to study Calc. So productive.
Yes, definitely.
We'll hit the Swickley Public Library.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's definitely good to have that like solid group of friends that can like help definitely push you through, even if that isn't like focus wise. Like even just like friends that can help lighten the mood if you're stressed.
And like people with the same ideologies and priorities, I think so beneficial. Like I think the three of us are, I would say 9.9 out of 10 times are on the same page. And whether we're studying together or just hanging out or running down to the track, it's nice to be around people that, you know, have like the same goals in mind.
Kind of going off that and like hanging around people that have like the same goals in mind, how do you think you've been able to build like good relationships socially in high school and like relationships that you think will last you outside of high school?
I honestly think by getting involved, like without track and soccer, I probably wouldn't have met you guys, especially like, with the grade difference. There are definitely, I think, a lot of opportunities in any high school you go to like join clubs and stuff of that nature. And I think getting involved, you're exposed to new people, you meet people with the same priorities, with different priorities, and it all like shapes you better and gives you a more holistic approach on like who do you want to spend your time around.
I agree, and I also really do believe that like you attract like the type of like energy that like you give off. So I think if you're like genuinely like confident in yourself and like doing like the things you want to do, you'll attract the right people.
I definitely agree. And do you guys think it's important to surround yourself with a lot of people that have the same moral values as you and kind of like something that balances off of like balances your personality and your goals?
I definitely think surrounding people with the same morals as you is important because, at least for me, I feel like I'm always going to my friends for advice. And so it's nice when that advice lines up with like what I believe morally. But I also think being exposed to people who think differently, act differently, prioritize different things is beneficial because it teaches you a lot about another way to live your life too, and honestly can change your mindset on some of the things. So I think there's definitely a balance between being around like-minded people and being around people who are different from you.
I agree. I feel like your closest circle, because like you're the product of like the 5 closest people around you. Like I saw that quote and I definitely think it's true because like I feel like my behaviors like shift like depending on like the friends I am. Because like Lynn mentioned like on Instagram today that I was acting like one of our friends. And I realized like my
friend? Shout out Nathan, we love you.
And like I realized like your humor, like your catchphrases, like your sayings, like it really is like the people around you. So I think it's important to like surround yourself with like people like you like as a person. But I also agree to like also like get to know people who are like different than you, like expand your worldview.
Exactly. I definitely agree. I think that it's super important having the same ideas with your friends of what's right and wrong. But I feel like when it comes to cultural differences or different things, I think that's super important to just expand your group of friends and having a good understanding and being willing to understand other people and their perspectives. Because obviously we're going to go into the real world. There's going to be so many different types of people, and we're going to go to college, and there's going to be a whole new melting pot of people.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely important to start building those relationships like now, and also trying to like learn to like understand other people, compromise, and do that type of stuff.
For sure. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so now kind of shifting gears, we're going to look at just like a couple of the things that you guys do outside of school and how that has helped build the person that you are now. Either of you can start.
I really think, like you should go first. You're the senior.
Okay. I think something that's really shaped me into the person I am today is soccer. That I think playing any sport in general or like doing any sort of activity to a point where like there's a level of dedication teaches you a lot about yourself in life. Like I've learned a lot of life lessons, especially I think about the value of hard work and dedication and perseverance. I think it's definitely shown me the benefits to working hard, and also how do you respond to challenges that you face, whether that be like not starting in a game, playing poorly, losing a game. How do you do that? And also how do you bring up others around you because it is a team sport? And I definitely think, being involved in soccer has brought me so many good memories and like great friends, and I'm genuinely so blessed to have been able to play soccer for this long and to continue playing soccer. I don't think I'd be the person I am today without it.
That's amazing, Katherine. I'm really happy for you.
That was so great.
I'd say for me, one of like the most influential things I find is working with the youth, and by the youth I mean like the really like little kids, like fourth grade, fifth grade. Because they're just so smart. Like, I would volunteer, I think mostly last year, like every Friday for 4 hours at the Carnegie Science Center Fab Lab. And I would work with these kids who like knew how to like operate like 3D printers and laser cutters. And it's just like, wow, they're just so smart. And it's just like, I feel like it's very humbling, but it's also just like really like significant to just like engage with like the youth and just see like how smart they are and just like, I don't know. It's just, yeah.
I like that a lot, and it kind of makes me want to talk about like volunteering and like volunteer hours. For our school, we're required to get 50 hours of volunteer hours. But it definitely pushes you outside your comfort zone. And even though a lot of times they'll be like, oh, we don't really want to do like a little kids camp or something like that, I feel like at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun. And you also learn a lot of stuff from like the little kids and just working with them. Like patience, you have siblings.
Yes.
Younger siblings, like really younger siblings.
I talk about them all the time.
So I feel like you're well equipped and prepared to like work with kids, but for other people who might not have younger siblings, like Katherine, I feel like that's just like a good basis, and like it kind of helps push you out of your comfort zone and like prepare you for other stuff.
Agreed. I think working with the youth, like, I mean, I know that for our soccer team at high school, we'll like run the camps together for the youth, like soccer camps, and that has genuinely just been like top 3 most fun experiences in life. Like,
it's so rewarding.
It is rewarding, even like though, you know, the growth in terms of like technical soccer development isn't that much in the span of a week, but watching them like really fall in love with the game, make friends, and come out of their shell is just so like pure.
Yeah.
And it's adorable.
It's like you see yourself in one of the kids, and that's your favorite little kid. But kind of going back to the point of like social things and just balancing life socially, I kind of want to talk about just like, how do I want to phrase this? Just like, what are some things you've learned just dealing with social things at the high school level?
I feel like the main thing I've learned is like no one is actually like judging you or like focusing on you as much as you think they are. Like really, like so many of the things that we think are embarrassing is only comes from us like looking at ourselves from other people's perspectives. So I feel like really like the thing I learned about high school is like everyone is just focused on like themselves and like how other people are being themselves. They're not focusing on you. So just do whatever you want.
Firm believer of like genuinely be yourself. And I think if you're a genuine, authentic person, like Raneem was talking about earlier, you'll attract genuine, authentic people who line up with you. And I think high school can be hard. I mean, you have a group of teenagers in a building, you see them like 40 hours a week. People are going to butt heads. You're not going to get along with everyone. But learning to coexist with people you don't get along with, coexist with different ideologies, and then also just, you know, grow friendships. I think.
And also just like remembering that people aren't perfect and that we're all teenagers and we're all going to make mistakes. Because I feel like a lot of times people like focus on like maybe 1 or 2 things a certain individual has like done, and they like create an entire idea on them based off of like one experience or like things that other people have said. So yeah, so I think that like having like just the chance to kind of talk to everybody, not making like those judgments before, kind of just being open to talking to anybody and hearing anybody out, kind of like we said before, but just kind of doing all those things to be able to, like you said, coexist with those other people. Because in the end, you don't know if that's going to be your boss in the future. If you
have no idea.
Like you have no idea where life takes you, and it can be really fun sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like just give people like the benefit of the doubt and you'll just like find so much peace.
Agreed. And I think how you treat people will come back to you. Like if you're kind to people, I think, I don't know, I believe it all.
What goes around
comes around. Yeah, exactly. And I think that, you know, branching out and meeting new people can be so fun, and just like becoming friends with you guys has been so much fun. And can genuinely bring you so much laughter. And I think, trying to trek along through the school day, it's nice to have those people that you can laugh with.
Yeah. And it's like, it's never boring because I feel like I learned something new about everything.
I know, like you think you like know something, and then something happens, you're just like, wow.
Or like something said. Just like, wow.
It's just you can really grow along with these people,
Yes.
And it's definitely, we're all growing together. We can see it. And like Raneem said, it's like everybody's rubbing off on each other in good ways, I would say. So it's like kind of funny seeing like little bits and pieces of like another person.
Okay. So how has high school pretty much helped you understand or have a better understanding of like where you see yourself?
I think this kind of goes back to what I started off with. Like, it's shown me academically what my interests are more. And also, as I've like met new people and also been around some like genuinely amazing educators, it's kind of helped me see like what type of person do I want to be when I grow up. Like, some of our teachers I genuinely have like such a soft spot for. They're so sweet.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
No, but I not all of them. Not all of them. Like, there's definitely gonna be moments where you like butt heads with teachers, or you're going to end a class and you're gonna be like, oh, thank goodness I don't have that teacher anymore. But there's definitely like a good amount of teachers that you're like, oh wow, I'm so glad that I was able to make these connections, and like, oh, this is who's gonna write my letter of recommendation. Or like teachers that like change your life, like honestly, like teachers that you remember forever.
Yeah.
And my heart goes out to those teachers.
Same.
Like, I think there's always one for everybody.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with everything that was just said. But like, with like middle school, like you have like your little like awkward phase. And then in high school, that's when like you can really like focus on like the person you want to like put out into the world, like the qualities you want people to see in you and all of that. And I think that's really like about high school, like your experiences and the people you meet really do shape you. So I feel like you just really discover like what type of person you want to be like in college and in the workplace.
I definitely agree. That was well said.
That was
really well said.
It's like perfectly encapsulated everything.
Yeah. So the last question I had for you guys is one thing you guys would be kind of excited to leave behind in high school.
Oh wait, I know this one. I feel like the constant like comparing yourself to others, like I feel like that's like super toxic because like you only see like a fraction of like everyone's life. So it doesn't make sense to like compare your like whole life to like what you see in like a little bit of someone else's life. So like to anyone who's like me, like I remember at the beginning, like freshman, sophomore year, I would look at everyone at Swickley because they're all so amazing and be like, oh my gosh, they're doing everything. And you'd feel like you're not doing enough, but really you can't think like that. You just gotta like focus on yourself and like everyone's different. So I would say leaving behind the comparison.
I think comparison is the thief of joy. Like,
yes,
even me. Yeah. I think for me, something I'm excited to leave behind in high school is, honestly, just like the structure.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of free periods. We all know that. But, kind of, I'm excited for a little more freedom, I think, and independence, and, kind of carving my own path, I think will be good.
Yeah,
What about you?
I think I like agree with both. I always look at that question, I think, and I'm like, what is it specifically? But I think most of it just like the immaturity. Like, I hope to come out of high school as like a better person, a better version of myself, and somebody that has grown and learned from my mistakes, so that I'm able to be like the best version of myself like when I leave high school. Because I definitely think that high school is a whole bunch of like learning experiences. Like, there's so many things that like happen and you're like, okay, wow, like I'm never gonna do that again. But I think that's one thing that I want to leave behind in high school, just like the immaturity.
Yeah.
And I lied, that wasn't the last question I had. The last actual question that I have is like, if you guys had any advice for anybody that was going into high school or somebody that is in high school, what would it be?
I know. It just popped into my mind. I think don't be afraid of hard work. I think as you go throughout high school, you're gonna come across something that's challenging to you. In the way you kind of, whether you embrace those challenges or just kind of shut down, will be very like defining character building moments. So I think don't be afraid of hard work. Although like studying for the math test for 3 hours isn't enjoyable, it is rewarding, and you know you're turning into the person you want to become in those moments where you don't want to do the hard thing. When you do the hard thing that you don't want to do, I think you get closer to becoming like who you want to be. Yeah.
I would say, like, don't, like, spend most of your high school, like, times, like, focusing on the future. I would say really try to, like, be in the moment, because believe it or not, you are going to miss these days. Like, in, like, 20 years, you're going to look back and be like, wow, high school was kind of fun. So, like, don't spend most of your high school life, like, focusing on, like, what's coming. Like, college is exciting, but also take it one day at a time. Really focus on, like, the people around you, the memories you're making, because you are going to miss it one day.
I do think something that we're all like accustomed to is thinking about like, should I do this for college? Should I do that for college? Should I take this class? Should I not take this class? How is this gonna look? But also like, I think that's such a big thing, especially like in our environment, because it's like college preparatory school. But what Raneem was saying about like living in the moment and enjoying it, I definitely think that's so beneficial and like so fun.
Like just realizing like we're just high school students. Like we're only gonna be in high school once, and like we're only gonna be 16, 17, like once. So it's definitely exciting to be like at this stage in our life, and I feel like it's something we should like embrace.
Exactly, because like we were all like young, like in elementary school, like thinking like, oh, I can't wait till like when I'm like 16 and 17. And you don't want to like spend like your whole time stressing about like college and like what you can't control. You just want to focus on like having fun, having a good teenage experience too.
Yeah.
It's all about that balance.
High school can be so fun with the right people.
That is true. Like I feel like there's definitely a whole high school is what you make it. Because it can definitely be stressful. I feel like if you say high school isn't stressful, then I don't think you're being truthful. But like, it can definitely be a lot of fun. It's just what you make it. And I think one thing that I would say is just like not being afraid to ask for help and not seeing it as a weakness. Because I feel like a lot of times, even in like certain classes, like it'll be a little scary to raise your hand and ask a question because everybody else is so smart and they understand, and I'm the one that's like lost. But then in reality, everybody in the class is so lost.
I'm like, I was waiting for someone to ask that question.
Exactly. It's like when somebody else finally asks, you're like, oh, thank goodness, I'm not the only one. So it's like, and even if you don't want to ask in front of everybody else, like taking the time to talk to your teacher and make sure that they understand, like, oh, I'm struggling here or there. Just building those communication skills and being able to like express yourself in a way that like kind of helps get you where you need to be. So I think that pretty much ends the questions. But I always do like a fun little game segment before I end my podcast episode. And today I have like a high school superlatives type game. So I have like a couple questions, and then you guys can like name what you think would be best fitting. So in your the most stressful class right now?
AP Calc.
I agree.
Oh my goodness.
I completely agree. Everybody knows how I feel.
It's
really difficult.
Best spontaneous high school.
I feel like we've definitely gone up to we've had some shenanigans at soccer and oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, when we had to like, remember when we had to rerun? Like,
yes, when we had to, Katherine, were you there?
I don't think so.
So it was me, Nate, our friend Nathan, Raneem, and True, and we would not, okay, so technically our school doesn't have a track, so we have to go to the neighboring public schools track, and we have to run there as our warm-up every single day for track practice, and we don't run. Well, actually, no, in Raneem's defense, she was trying to run, but we were holding her back. I would be the main one, and I would say everybody else, like, no, let's take a break, like, let's not, like, run this long. And we were the last people getting to the track, and our track coach.
This is Shimner.
Yes, Shimner got upset, and he goes, you guys need to run all the way back to Nichols and come back. And if you guys walk, then you'll go back. So, I mean...
How did he know?
Because we were too slow.
except here's what they made. This is what they made me do. So I started running, right? And then Erlyn and Nathan and True, they would walk. They waited until I came back running before they started to head back.
We did do that. And Mr. Clinton was the one that saw us walking too. He's the one that told you that we weren't running.
This is like random, but do you remember when I had my concussion and I couldn't play, so we were like manning the like music?
Yes. And wait, was it Porter? That came up, she's like, who's playing that music? Me and Nathan were like, oh, it's not us.
That was my bad.
It was Kat. But yeah, we have a lot of funny moments.
Oh yeah.
We
So
definitely
many.
make a lot of memories.
Funniest teacher moment.
Oh, I have one. So Erlyn and I take AP Bio together. And one thing that I think that class has really taught us is like, you know what? Don't be afraid of, shouting out the wrong answer. There's no such thing as a stupid question. And we were doing this activity, it was the dominoes thing.
Oh,
We're learning about cell signaling. So everyone gets like a couple of dominoes and like you're supposed to make like a setup where the dominoes are gonna fall and like ring a bell or something like that to cause a reaction to show like the cellular response. So Erlyn and I, we got real creative. We stacked the dominoes in a certain way. We added our bell. We had like a cool direction to it, like a cool cellular response that was like really creative and unique. So everyone goes around to the different tables seeing like, oh, what was your domino? What was your domino? Like, how did you, like use the model to show cell signaling? And everyone comes to ours and okay, Erlyn and I are like, okay guys, get ready. We knock the first domino down, like 2 of them fall, the rest of them don't work.
Our example is an example, but not teacher, essentially.
Yeah.
Or also just like when we're doing practice questions.
We'll think we get the right answer and we'll give
It was
each other
our
high fives. And our teacher will be like, actually, that's not right.
He'll be like, who thought it was A? And me and Erlyn will be like, high five. And he's like, so that's wrong. And everyone in that class is so smart. So they all like turn up like at us and they're like,
Okay, guys, so that was it for today's episode. Again, thank you both for joining us. Katherine. This was a bunch of fun. If you guys liked it, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next 2 weeks.
bye.